Hi, I'm Lawrence Wilson, and this is the That Ain't Right podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And now for the story of the week. This week we are going to talk about something that will not be explained honestly on the mainstream media. Why the United States cares so much about the Middle East, and specifically Iran. When most people hear about tensions with Iran, they are told it's about nuclear weapons, terrorism, or democracy. Though things may play a role, but there's a much bigger strategic picture at play. It's oil and the US dollar. Let's start with oil. The modern global economy still runs largely on petroleum, and a massive amount of that oil flows through one tiny, extremely important shipping lane called the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow passage sits between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula, and it's one of the biggest energy choke points in the entire world. Roughly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. That means about 1 in 5 barrels of oil on the earth moves through that narrow waterway. Now let's talk about the dollar. After the oil shocks of the 1970s, the U.S. created what is known as the petrodollar system. Global oil sales would now be priced and traded using only the U.S. dollar. That meant if any country in the world wanted to buy oil, they first needed to obtain the U.S. dollar. So how do they get those dollars? They trade with the United States using treasury bonds, or they keep dollars in the central bank reserves. This creates constant worldwide demand for the US dollar. It's one of the main reasons why the US economy became the dominant revenue across the world. Not everyone likes the system. Countries like China and others have been trying to reduce the reliance. That's where the groups known as BRICS comes in. Let's take a moment and take a stroll down the strip and turn a fictional page to a little segment I like to call Comic Book Corner. Let's get back into it. BRICS include countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They have been discussing ways to trade energy and resources without using the US dollar. That would weaken America and our influence around the world. And that brings us back to Iran. Iran sits in one of the world's most strategically important locations on the planet, right next to the Strait of Hormuz. It also holds some of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world. The region remains one of the most complex geopolitical chessboards on Earth. Oil routes, global currencies, military strategy, and rising powers like China are all tied together in ways that most headlines never explain. And when you start connecting the dots, the story looks very different from the simple narrative we usually hear. And that ain't right. I don't have a studio. I don't have fancy equipment. I have a phone, a voice, and hopefully you. Together we can make a difference. Thanks for listening. Until next time.